The Angry Soccer Guy is back. Give me 1 second. Okay, the Angry Soccer Guy is back, and I'm going to be discussing my viral video that has right now 1.7 million views, and how this goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the organization with high soccer prospects and the development curriculum that we have, which is called the Age Development Curriculum, and the focus of it and what we're trying to achieve. And I think people are getting confused about what I said with individual development before team development, and I'm going to expand on that whole thing right now and why. And hopefully that'll make sense and you'll understand what we're trying to achieve and do here in a moment. Okay, so looking at this, we're going to go through the framework. Okay, it got 1.7 million views. 90% of the comments are like, it's a team, why would you not do team first? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and that's fine. And you can have your opinion, it's okay. I've had multiple people tell me stuff like that before, and you got to be a little crazy to have success. But what I will say is, we canceled our tryouts, we ran open clinics, and we're focusing on individual development over team, which I'll expand on here in a moment. This means individual first over team. So we canceled tryouts because I'm not a fan of tryouts. Tryouts, which if you think about the word try out, is try us out. Try us out or try it out. So you should be able to see what you get by going to the organization. Hence the reason try out. You get to try out for the team. When you try out for the team, you should go through a training session to see what that looks like. So we canceled our tryouts and we called them open clinics. So you as parents could see what we have, what we do, and if it's a good fit for your child or not. And I said, no harm, no foul. If you think it's great, cool. If you don't, okay. At least you got to see what we can offer you and what we try and do other than just a tryout. Okay, where you sit there and do scrimmages the entire time. And then a coach stands with a clipboard going, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, and then this is what we're trying to focus on. Okay, so when I say individual first over team, what I'm trying to get you to understand, and what probably asking is, what does this actually mean? You're probably thinking we're going to tell kids to sit there and just, everybody's man for themselves, do whatever they want. No. We teach fundamentals first. And in a very basic scale, this is what we teach and how we teach it. Dribbling skill, 1v1 skill, passing skill, receiving skill. That's it. We focus on fundamentals, okay? And then we focus on the implementation of said fundamentals. But where I'm going with this is, if we don't have players that can dribble first and do 1v1, we don't teach passing and receiving concepts yet. Because we feel that this is the first priority of development versus these two. We want kids that have the confidence, the ability, the know-how to take people on and use dribbling skill in a 1v1 before we start teaching passing. And this all comes down to core skills, what I call core skill. You might call it ball mastery, you might call it corver, you might call it cone work. Whatever you want to call it is your thing. We just call it core skill. Okay, we feel that kids, you might call it fundamentals, kids need to have fundamental skill before playing into games successfully. And if you think about it, wouldn't it be unreasonable to expect that a child that doesn't have the ability to dribble, to beat somebody 1v1, to pass and receive, could play the game successfully? Those are the four basic mechanical skills of a game, or of the game, is to dribble, pass, receive, and beat somebody. And then don't get beat by somebody. So those go hand in hand. If you can't do those, why are we worried about a result at 77 or 99? It's asinine to even think about that in a different way. So before we worry about the team in 77 or 99, we want to make sure that the kids, the players, have fun. They need to have fun first and have the tools and skills necessary to be successful here or further in the future. So we're trying to target where kids are lacking skill and basic ability to develop those skills with implementation as well. So to highlight this, we have found that the average player in America, paid to play, the players or kids don't have the confidence to take people on. They don't have the confidence, they don't have the creativity, they don't have the skill. They've probably been robotic in the sense of the coach is screaming, kick it, boot it, send it. Or if they make a mistake, the coach is all over them about the mistake, which is a big problem. Okay? They pass and stand still, and I make a joke, I call it the flamingo. So they do not pass and move, they do this. So make a pass, and they flamingo. Right? So what I'm highlighting is they pass the ball and they literally stand still. So they're like, oh, I did my job. I released the ball. I'm done. I flamingo. No, pass and move. Even if you don't run forward, I call it reposition. You pass and reposition your body. Okay, next one. They get stuck playing a single position. So that means, especially in pay-to-play America, when it comes to kick and run, boot ball, you're going to see coaches put little Jimmy only on defense, or little Jimmy only on striker, or little Jimmy only on wing, or goalie, whatever the position is, because they want to win. They don't want to develop. Okay? So kids at a young age should be playing multiple positions just to learn and experience new things. And then, because they get stuck playing a single position, they don't get to experience all 4 game moments. So that would be attacking, that would be transition to defending, that would be defending, and that would be transition to attack. The only player that's probably going to do that is the midfielders or midfielder. Okay, they get to attack, defend, transition, transition. Okay, whereas if you're a defender, you're going to be defending, you're going to be transitioning to defense, maybe a little bit of transition to attack, and maybe a little bit of attacking, but you only get one perspective. You don't get the whole package. Okay, next one would be, they fail to understand, and this is probably not the most important, but I mean, they're all very important, but one of the key things to actually, if you really break this down and think about, and this is where it kind of like gets together, it summarizes, it becomes a big piece. They fail to understand, the player fails to understand when to take the dribble or provide the pass and why. So like, when you see a kid and he has a ball, and then he just takes it with nobody around him, no defender around him, and he just passes it, especially at a young age. Why would you do that? Well, you're going to say, oh, he's moving the ball. Okay. Wouldn't you want to attract pressure first? Attract pressure and then pass? Because if you attract pressure, you're now moving the opponent. The whole reason of passing the ball is because you're trying to disrupt, confuse, disperse the defenders, so that way you can get forward and score. That's why you dribble, because when you dribble and you do a skill, you're trying to beat the opponent, so you're taking the opponent out of the picture. But if we're just passing to pass the ball, that's called tiki-taka. That's not called trying to score or to penetrate. So we need to have a reason as to why we're passing. And you're going to say, oh no, tiki-taka means to pass the ball and play forward. No, it doesn't. If you read the books about Pep Guardiola and read the interviews with him, he literally says, I hate the word tiki-taka because that means passing without a purpose. He's like, we pass with a purpose to move the defenders, and I'm paraphrasing the point, but to move the defenders, to unbalance them to score. So just to be clear what that means. So we want to make sure that we provide the players this by giving them the confidence to play 1v1, to take people on, to be creative. We then teach them that they need to pass and move once they have enough skill to do so. Okay? We don't play them in one single position. We want them to experience, learn, and grow by playing multiple positions. That means they get to experience all 4 game moments. So it's not just sit in the back and boot the ball down the field. It's maybe I try and play from the back. Maybe I get moved in the midfield. Maybe I get moved as a striker. And then I'll give you a quick summary with this as well. Like, let's say we're playing a hard game, right? So we know the opponent's very good. It's going to be a hard game. If we're up or down by 5, then we'll rotate. So we'll play them in their primary position, so to speak, because if we don't, parents will be upset and say, I can't believe you threw the game. Okay. So we'll put them in their primary position where they're probably the best in that moment. We try and play to win the game. If we're up by 5 or down by 5, we'll rotate, because usually when you're up by that much, there's no comeback. I mean, are there rare exceptions where PSG loses in the Champions League to Barca? Yes. You know, whatever it was, 6-2 or whatever, but otherwise it doesn't happen that often. There are flukes, there are exceptions to the rule. That is true, but it's not often, okay? And then we help develop and understand when to take the dribble and provide the pass and why. And the best way you can do that is simple. You create an exercise that is 2 attackers versus 1 defender. And then the attackers have to decide, do I dribble? Do I pass? Why? And this is such a primitive concept that we just skip because we say, let's put them in 77. Let's put them in 99. No, let's develop the skills to be successful, the tools with the implementation of it in 2v1, to understand when do I dribble, when do I pass, and why. Because let's say you skip that, you take them to 77. You're skipping a fundamental, crucial learning moment that needs to be taught for them to be successful to go to a higher level. And if you don't teach it, how do you expect them to have the skills to be able to do so later? Like if you don't, and I'll give it to you this way. Let's say you have a striker, okay? Would it be reasonable to expect him to score if you don't practice finishing or shooting? Probably not. I mean, there are some kids that are maybe more naturally inclined, but if he's not taking 100 shots a day, how can I expect him to be able to score a lot of goals in the game? You have to have repetition to score, right? You don't get good at something if you don't practice it on repetition. Could you get lucky? I don't believe in luck, but you know, there's many facets to that, so just keep that in mind. And let's keep it here. So with our organization, with that video that I posted, with our age development curriculum, this is what we are attempting to teach first before the primary team concepts. Okay, so once we have those skills, we've developed those skills to a level that we feel is competent enough, then we'll go into the focus on team aspect, focus on group to team aspect. Okay, so then I want to ask you this question as well, and then I will make an entire topic about this. How many teams do you know move on to the next level? How many teams do you know? So a team, so a group of players, at least 11, that's a team, go from youth soccer to college. And I'm saying like the same college. The answer is, I don't know a single one. So what should happen is you last season, or the season before, I guess it's 2 years now, Man City bought Erling Haaland. They didn't go buy 10 players with Haaland. They found Haaland at a club, grabbed him, bought him, put him into their team. The same concept. You go find a player. They scouted the player. They thought he was a good fit. They purchased him. They grabbed him, transferred him to their team and put him in the team. It's literally the same thing. The player should move, be able to be developed, move to another group, be developed, move to another group, be developed, move to another group, be developed, get to the next level. Well, that's one player, maybe two, not a team. So it's just, I think it's such a backwards approach that we've like skipped fundamentals. Focus on fundamentals, or what I call core skill. Develop those assets, and then the players will have the ability to get to the next level. Doesn't mean they'll make it to the next level, but they'll have the ability to do so. So hopefully that makes sense. Hope you found value from this. Hopefully you understand better the concepts that I was trying to explain. Maybe you didn't think my delivery was good. That's fine. I appreciate the feedback. But if you found value from this video, please share it with somebody. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, whatever. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video.